Welcome back to Our Wyoming Life. My name is Mike, and today we are bringing you along for an extra video. In fact, I even forgot to put my cowboy hat on because this was a little bit of a hurry up and get done thing. Today we are working on a project that all has to do with this windmill and a water line. Our water line itself runs from a well that's about 3 miles back that way, back at the house. This is a line that actually feeds all the way down there, about 3.5 miles, down to summer pasture. The problem is that our well has been running constantly for the last couple days. We know that because we have what's called a run light on top of our well, and that light tells us that the well is running. And if a well doesn't shut off, that means you've got a pressure problem or something else is going on. More than likely, you've got a leak. So once we noticed that was happening, we took a run down that water line, taking a look and seeing what we could find if there was any leaks that were pretty obvious. And we did find one that we're gonna have to fix today. It's right down here. This we call our one-legged windmill. And as you can see down here below me, there is a bit of a mess. Lots of water standing here, lots of mud. And that hydrant that's right back there that goes into that tank is obviously having some kind of issue. Let's see if we can get a closer look without getting too muddy down here. Okay, so you see all this really soft soil. There's water running down in there. This is the casing that the hydrant actually sits in. And it looks like it has water in it down there at the bottom. And of course, this water running all the way down into that dry creek bed. Not a good thing. Huge waste of water, number one. Number two, if that well continues to run, it's gonna burn up that motor. So, I'll sneak on out of here. We actually are gonna have to fix this problem. Now, we have to dig up this hydrant, get it out of here, and figure out what the problem is, because obviously it's happening down lower since we have water inside that casing. Now we could use a shovel, could get a great big old shovel and start digging. That doesn't sound like too much fun. So what we're gonna do is what I would normally do in this situation, and that's called Gary. Hashtag everybody needs a Gary. Gary's one of our neighbors, and I don't think that Erin and I would have been as successful in this ranching endeavor as we are without neighbors like Gary. I always say surround yourself with people that know what they're talking about, and Gary is right there at the top of the list. He has actually graciously allowed us to borrow his mini excavator to come up and dig this out. So that is going to be our plan. We're going to dig this out. We're going to figure out what's going on here and hopefully get some parts and get it all fixed back up so we can get water turned back on, because right now the water is off. We had to drain the line, which means that there's no water right back there at the fence line going into summer pasture. Now they do have other waters down there, so I'm not too worried about it, but it would be nice to get this one up and running. The windmill itself actually does not work. The leathers that are inside the pipe have kind of worn through. We replaced them a bunch of times. Something's not working right with this. That's a whole nother thing to tackle eventually, but it is nice to have water down here, and hopefully we can get it fixed. Now I've given Jeff a heads up as to what we're doing. So he's getting a trailer hooked up on the truck so that we can go and grab that mini excavator from Gary's house. And we're not really sure how much work this is actually gonna take. The big thing is we gotta get it dug out and see where the break is. Now it could be as simple as, it's just a fitting that came loose, which could be a really easy fix. More than likely, what my guess is that there's a broken fitting somewhere down in there. And whoever put this water line in years and years ago, they actually used PVC for an underground water line, which is probably not the best thing to do in the world. So my guess is that PVC gets old. Any movement that happens within that hydrant then of course translates down to the bottom. Probably cracked something is my guess, but we're gonna find out once we get it all dug up. But first we need that mini, so let's head that way. All right. You ready to dig a hole?
You bet.
I gotta warn you, I haven't run this mini excavator a whole lot, and Jeff has ran it even less than I have. So We're going to do our best. Gary's actually busy today, or else he'd probably come down and dig the hole for us. But that's okay. Eventually, the kid has to grow up and learn how to do it for himself, right? And we're here. Boy, that was quick. You know, they say keep your friends closer, and keep your friends close, and your enemies closer. But I'd like to change that too. Keep your friends close, and the guy with all the equipment closer. You definitely need him for a friend. All right, we're going to grab this mini excavator loaded up and hit the road. one is your blade up and down. So that's just to hold you in place. So this one's left and right, and then up and down. This one controls your bucket, left and right, and in and out. That's pretty much it. Throttle's over here. These are your movement controls, but you don't want to move until you pick your blade up. Pull. digging a hole. All right, so Jeff, what do you think?
It's interesting.
Lots more buttons and not buttons and switches, but more levers and things happening.
Yeah.
Parts moving.
All kinds of directions to go.
Yeah, no doubt. The one trick is that we don't want to get too close with this thing because obviously we can do a lot of damage. You don't, once you get used to them, and I know Gary he could pick up a quarter with it if he had to. For us, it's more of we might hurt things more than what we need to. So we actually have to go back to the old standby, which is the shovel. I'm going to jump down in there and we're just going to kind of clean this out a little bit. And if you did notice, we made the hole a little bit bigger. We don't want to cave in. That would be bad. So we actually dug the hole a little bit wider than what we need to. But I'm gonna jump down there. If you could start taking all this stuff apart so that we can pull all this out once I get down there and get it uncovered and figure out where we're at and what we're doing. So that's the next step. Here we go.
Yuck.
just slide this pipe up over the hydrant. The casing here. Okay, so here's what we found down here in the pit. We found a piece of pipe here, which apparently doesn't do anything because it just ends there. So we're guessing that's a piece of pipe that somebody laid in a million years ago to show us where to dig. Here is the bottom of our hydrant coming down into an L and going to the water line. Yeah, that's not good either. See, I don't know where the heck it's leaking from. So, my fear is that it's leaking that direction. Because it's kind of like wore out a little bit of a path here. As we've just been sitting here, you can see there's still water coming in from somewhere. And it's not leaking from up here. So my fear is this pipe going back that way has something going on with it. There we go. Okay, let's change of plans now because we can see the problem. So if you look down in that hole, I don't know if you can see it, but there's water pooling at the bottom of the hole, which means there's water coming in from somewhere. And it's not coming from the hydrant, which tells me it's coming from the line going back up that way. Really, the only way to find this is to just dig and follow that line, which means we have to take out all this stuff, move these tanks, drain these tanks. We're going to verify this problem very quickly in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to load up Gary's backhoe or mini excavator and get it out of here and get it cleaned up and back to him, because this project just turned into a much larger project. So super fun times. We'll keep you updated though, and that's the wonderful thing about Saturday videos is we really never know how they're going to end.
If they're going to end.
This is how this one's going to end today, trust me. We're going to have to get a bigger backhoe in here. We're going to have to dig back a lot farther, a lot more. I'm not sure where the main line is that comes down. I could go back and look at some maps and see if I can figure that out. And then from there, we might need professional help. Maybe. We'll find out. So be sure to stick around and follow along as we dig more holes right here on the ranch. You got anything to add, Jeff?
No, I don't.
Jeff has nothing to add. So that's it for us. I hope you guys had fun. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe, follow along so you can see what kind of bigger mess this turns into. And we'll keep on plugging away. Or something. Why do my feet feel so heavy?
I wonder.